First, Stephen, a grand traveler, Australian, then professor in Ningbo, close to Shanghai, and now working for South China Morning Post in Hong Kong. So, always in Asia, but not the same country. So, Stephen, you have the floor as moderator of this session about mobile news distribution. So, exactly after news gathering, how the same device can be used for distributing information and maybe making money for the different media companies. You have the floor.
Good afternoon, everybody. So, briefly, I had a promotion. I don't know if you saw, but my title's been corrected, so this one is, it's nice. How many of you have traveled on public transport here recently? Okay. Did anybody see anybody reading a broadsheet newspaper? I will pay money if somebody will take a photograph and let me, okay. What about the number of people using mobile phones on public transport here? Yeah, it's just astounding. As Donald Sang said this morning, 200% penetration, so basically 2 mobile phones. So here's the first question. Of all the people you know in the world, who has the most numbers of mobile phones? So who has a friend who has more than 3 mobile phones? Hands up. 4? Anybody with 4? Anybody with 5? 5. Anyone with 6? What am I bid? What am I bid? What am I bid? Anyone 7? I've still got my hand up. 8? They still work, yeah. 9? Anyone on 9? I'm down. So you win. Okay. How many? Ah, wow. Okay. Yeah. So the point is that this mobile phone thing is ubiquitous. It's everywhere. So is it evolution? Is it revolution? We'll consider that. We've changed the format slightly because it's getting late in the afternoon. So we want to make this much more interactive, much more talking with you guys. So we've got roughly an hour. I won't bother giving the bios of the presenters because you better read them on the screen. Each person will come up, will present for a few minutes, and then the objective is to get lots of discussion going with the audience. And then when they're finished their session, the next speaker will come up and do the same thing. And I think the aim here is to promote some discussion and debate. Sorry, I should have begun with this. Thank you to GEN for this invitation. I attended another conference last week for 2.5 days, and I have learned more today than I did in the 2.5 days of last week's conference. So it's been really, really useful. So I've said enough. We'll be speaking in the order you see them from your left to right. So Elia is up first, and these are 3 erudite speakers from 3 different parts of the world, giving you 3 quite different perspectives, I think, on the topic of mobile distribution. First up, Elia, welcome.
Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm hoping my slides just appear magically up on screen. Yeah, look. So I'm Ilicco Elia, but Elia is fine because Ilicco sounds a bit like a disease. And I've been working in mobile for a very, very long time. And before I start, I need to correct Kerry. Where is Kerry? Is he in the audience still? Maybe not. The Reuters mobile journalism application was actually the year before 2007. Win. Basically, I worked at Reuters for a good 20 years and did everything from mobile journalism to social media, and have now left and joined a company called LBI, which enables companies to take full advantage of the digital platforms that are available in the world. And I wanted to start with a very, very quick video, which should scare the bejeebies out of everyone here, and I'll tell you why afterwards. Can we make sure there's some sound from the beginning? Because it's...
Jack, can you tell me what this is?
Newspaper. A map. A camera. A radio. A shop. A stereo. A TV. telephone.
Only Telstra gives you more ways to do more things in more places.
I love that ad. It's got kids. It's got cute kids. It's got kids with an Australian accent. Doesn't get any better than that. At the end he goes, I'm trying to perfect that. If anybody thinks that any one of these kids is ever going to buy a newspaper, ever, I think you're sorely mistaken. I actually believe that potentially their brothers and sisters won't even buy a newspaper, let alone the fact that their parents are probably not buying newspapers anymore. To a child of that age, and I have about 26 cousins ranging from the age of brand new, a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks old, all the way up to the age of 32. She won't like me for telling you how old she is, but I don't think anyone knows her. And they have never bought a newspaper in their entire life. I use them for mobile research mostly, so if anybody needs a focus group of teenagers, they are for hire. And I don't take a 30% cut like Apple does. And they all look at their mobile phone completely and utterly differently to the way that we look at mobile phones. And I'll say we because I'm old. The people at the back of the room, all the journalism students who are here covering this conference, think of mobile completely differently to the way we think of mobile. The only thing holding them back using mobile phones to the fullest extent is the price of the data plans. And as soon as 4G comes in, as soon as steady, consistent coverage of mobile networks come in, that's when we will actually see mobile really take hold and change the way people do business and change the world. Because actually, it's not about the technology, and I know we've heard that a few times today, but actually it is not about the technology, and I'm so grateful to Evo for saying, you know, it's about the stories that you tell as opposed to the technology you use to tell the stories. And Apple are the perfect example of a company that doesn't believe in technology, they believe in actually what that technology allows you to do that makes it fantastic and life-changing. Hopefully people know what this is. This is an advert for FaceTime, which is Apple's way of video calling, basically. And everyone knows that video calling has actually been around for a long, long time. Nokia did video calling many, many years ago. And this is what video calling used to look like. And this is actually a sentence from the user guide of how to use this video calling application. It doesn't fill me with any type of confidence that it's ever going to work. And if you compare the smiling, happy faces here with a mother looking at a child, and you compare, we don't know whether your application is going to work. Maybe the other guy has a phone that you might be able to use it with, maybe not. That's actually how far we've come in mobile. So, you know, we all like to take the mickey out of Apple for being, you know, expensive or locked in or a closed ecosystem. But actually what they've done is make people realize that they're not necessarily browsing the web, they're just doing stuff. They're just buying things. They're just looking at things. And that's what that whole app and ecosystem in the Apple iPhone has done for us. If you think back to the kids in the first paragraph, in the first video, actually, their first time that they will look at pretty much anything that you give them will be on a mobile phone. I know that happens in Japan way more frequently than it does in Europe. But the idea is that if somebody does send you an email, and companies send email and direct marketing constantly, or if people do send a link via Twitter or Facebook, I think it's something around the region of 50% of Twitter usage is via a mobile phone. The first thing you do when you see a link from someone that you know, you click on the link, it goes to a full website. You can't really be bothered to read it because the text is small. You have to pinch and zoom to get it right, or double click, and you go, oh, okay. Or somebody sends you an email, and most email is opened up on a mobile device before it's opened up in Outlook or on the web. And the idea is you go, oh, it's an email, and it doesn't have any pictures on it, and the formatting is all ski-whiff. I'll look at it when I go back to the desk. What happens next? You go back to your desk. That email is already marked as read. You've got about 300 emails above it that are all unread, and you forget about it. People's first impression of your brand will be on a mobile phone, and that's where you need to make the most impact. Now, if you then take something like the Amazon Kindle, which is a fantastic device, purely because it's available on every single platform there is, basically. It means that I can pick up, and I do actually have a ridiculous number of phones, but it means that I can pick up basically any one of my phones or any laptop, any iPod, any Kindle device, a website, and start reading a book from exactly where I left off. It knows exactly where I left off. Now that, in these day and age, isn't very exciting, let's be honest, but actually it means you read much more because it is just one click, I've started reading. And that idea that it follows you across all different platforms is something that the companies are not yet using to its full potential. Really, really needs to become much more integrated into every single other platform there is in the marketplace. News websites, when I go to a news website and then I maybe leave my desk and look at the same website on my mobile phone, they're showing me exactly the same news articles that I just read on the website. Yes, because there's an element of editorial prioritization on these news articles, absolutely. But it should at least let me know somehow that I've already read it, for example. And that's Kindle. I forgot that was there. Now, I wanted to really quickly talk you through an application that I built when I was at Reuters, purely because it sort of describes exactly, well, it describes an idea I had that I wanted to actually put into practice. The Reuters slideshow, Reuters Galleries application for BlackBerries, very simple for consumers. It basically allowed consumers to see or view, look at, swipe through all of the fantastic photography that Reuters puts out. Absolutely amazing photography. We wanted to showcase that. Very simple application. You choose the gallery you're interested in, and you can flick through the images. Nothing special about it at all. Nothing special until what I wanted to do was put live pictures into that application. Live pictures means that the Reuters photographers who are networked in, say, a football stadium, all the photos get sent directly to an editor who's sitting in the ground. The editor files that that picture. We intercept the feed and put it directly to a BlackBerry. That picture appears on a BlackBerry in a matter of seconds. Now, again, not that interesting, really, when you can have, we just seen the idea that you can do live video as well. But the idea that you can take a photo and put it straight into a Reuters system is different to a blogger taking a photo with his phone and putting it up on his blog. Those systems are easy. Those systems are free to use. WordPress does it all the time. Actually inserting an image, putting all the metadata around it, the time, the location, the place, and putting that into a big heavyweight system is difficult. Now, what that meant was that we could then give this application, and it was on a BlackBerry purely because we got a lot more notoriety. Nobody had done multimedia on BlackBerry that well before. Slideshow applications on the iPad or iPhone are two a penny, and we thought we'd get a lot more impact with it on the BlackBerry. What that means is we give the BlackBerry to the photographers in the stadium as well. They get basically real-time feedback about the photos that are being taken within the stadium. That means that they can then change potentially the number of photos or the type of photos that they're taking. If there are too many crowd shots, if there are too many shots of the players scoring the goals, they can change because they then make the product better itself. So that full circle allows not only the photos to get out very quickly, but allows the photographers to change the product based on what they're seeing the product is creating. And then this is an example of I think the only goal England scored in the World Cup. And no, I'm not bitter. And it appeared on my BlackBerry. I was in a pub in Brighton, in the south of England. And it appeared on my BlackBerry before the goal was scored on TV. So I was looking at my BlackBerry and went, yay! Looked up at the screen, yay! Then everybody asked me what the final score was going to be so that they could put a bet on. The idea that actually a photo appears on my BlackBerry hundreds of thousands of miles away before it's on TV, before it's in the newspaper the next day, it also allows the photographers in the stand to understand the photography that they're taking of the thing and change accordingly. Next idea would be to give that application to picture editors at a picture desk, which you then allow picture editors at the picture desk to be swamped by Reuters photography. And it allows them much more of a real-time understanding of what pictures are coming through the wires and therefore what can go into the stories that they're currently writing as opposed to writing the stories looking up the photo. it's a complete and utter 360-degree operation where you can influence the product, the usage of that product, and the sales of the product that the actual product is selling via mobile technology. And that's actually how ingrained mobile technology needs to be within people's organizations. I think we have a final slide here which is full of words and a little bit boring, but the 5 stages of mobile adaptation it's basically a theory we have at LBI that allows you to understand actually how far along this scale you are when you understand mobile as a channel, as a method for doing business, as a method for selling. I don't believe we should be using the mobile channel as a sales tool. It's a listening tool. It allows you to listen to your customers, and then out of that listening, sales will fall out. Simple rendering, simply reconfiguring your site so that it renders on a small screen. It's the first step that most people either have taken or... actually, very quick question. I presume everyone here has a website, not a mobile site. So can we just show of hands people who have a website? Please, everyone. And who has a mobile version of their website? Those of you who don't, why are you here? You should be at home coding or something. Once you get the content adaptation, you're basically reformatting your pictures, very simple example, reformatting your pictures for the smaller size. You then understand that mobile is slightly different in terms of the navigation you need to push people around the site. Then you understand actually the experience itself has to be different because I'm walking down the street or I'm at a different location, I've not got a big screen, I may be looking for something new. The LBI mobile site, the first thing on the site is actually minicab numbers to get to our offices, or a selection of restaurants if you're early or late for a meeting, or early for a meeting. And then finally, you've gone into the realms of actually using the dedicated functionality on the phone itself that you can't replicate on a website, on a desktop website, which is for things like taking videos or location-based tagging for those videos and uploading them instantly to the web. So as you move across this scale, it really embeds mobile more and more into your organization and how it helps you to do business. And I think that's it from me. Thank you.
Let's have a couple of questions. Got time for about 2 questions. Okay. I'll ask one. If I'm willing to concede to let you guys ask questions, but if you don't, I will ask. Okay. I wrote a book last year about business models to fund journalism. This should get people interested in business models. And I hypothesized that people have been trained they're trained to pay for mobile phone stuff. You know, you make a call, you send an SMS, you're paying for it. What's your reaction to that as a hypothesis?
I think people are trained to pay for a lot of stuff. It's not necessarily just on mobile. What's happened in mobile specifically is Apple mainly has given, the users, it's a force of habit, have given users the idea that they've actually bought something. In the same way that I don't know if anybody knows the crazy frog phenomenon in Europe many years ago. You actually, when you buy an application, you sort of have ownership, and you have something that you know, it's a little icon on your screen, and you bought that thing, and you know about it, which I think is, in my opinion, the same as a newspaper. You know you've bought a piece of paper. When it comes to the website, you're just sort of flicking through, and you jump to and jump from, and there's no barriers in place. It sort of feels free, which is probably where the whole information wants to be free came from. Whereas actually, if you buy an application, you buy something, and then you're buying the experience that that application gives you, as well as the content as well.
Okay. Anybody got a question? Yeah.
Thank you so much. I just get some free advice on this one. If you were to set up a digital newsroom, would you do it as an app or as a website?
I've just lost the bet. That I thought people wouldn't say app or website here. I would absolutely 100% always start with a website. Actually, let me start that again. I would start with getting your plumbing correct and your plumbing in order before you build anything at all. Applications and websites are simply the icing on the cake at the very top and a very small view of the content and the metadata and the video that you have underneath that website. So actually, it doesn't matter whether it's an application, a mobile website, or a website, as long as you have the ability to write once, write it in formats that are available, that are compatible with all the different websites, do all of your transcoding as well, make sure your metadata is correct and works, have filtering available, and then expose that content to whatever platform you want to deliver to. In fact, it's not whatever platform you want to deliver to, it's whatever platform your customers are on and that want to read your content, whether that's the Kindle or an iPhone or an Android or a very old Nokia device. When I was working at Reuters, about 60% of our users were on, used a BlackBerry phone. And when I spoke to advertisers, they were like, oh, really? It's BlackBerry? That's a bit rubbish, isn't it? And I wasn't, you know, horrified at the fact that 60% of the users were BlackBerry. Those were the business people who had a BlackBerry phone and wanted to look at the financial information. Whether that's changed or not now, I don't know. But the idea was back then, absolutely, you deliver a website for whatever platform the users are on that want to look at your website.
We have to move on to the next speaker. Our next speaker, can you hear me all right? Our next speaker is Gilles Raymond from Mobiles Republic in France. I met him for the first time last night, and he's got some very, very useful information for you. Over to you, Gilles.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the introduction. So I'm not very familiar of this audience. I guess the audience is not very familiar. So I would like to start by answering a question: who's this guy? I've never heard about him. I've never seen it before. Where he's coming from? First, nobody is perfect, so I'm French. It's even worse. I've never been a journalist in my previous life, and all my background is from the mobile industry. So I've basically spent my last 20 years in the mobile industry. I'm running a company called Mobiles Republic, and basically we are an application publisher, and basically our product is built. I just want to spend 1 minute on the product, and then we'll go a little bit deeper. But it's based on 3 levels, and this is what we're doing all over the world. First, we federate publisher and media around our technology and our solution. And so we did the bet to work and to partner with media. And we have nowadays, in fact, it's not 200 publishers, it's 250 publishers signed from famous news press agency such AFP, AP, AFA, SPD, and so on, to famous daily newspaper or TV such ITN, Le Parisien in France, up to famous bloggers such Gizmodo and so on. And we always interface our server with their server, and therefore we never take RSS feeds, we take the full streams. Second block or second level of what we have is we receive from those publishers 10,000 news per day in 5 different languages. And we've built and developed a semantic engine and a tag engine that is able in real time to understand the meaning of the different articles. To do that, we basically interfaced our server with Wikipedia database, enabled to be able to tag in real time and in the different languages. From that, we're able to extract around 150,000 subjects. In fact, we had 10,000 new subjects every month, so 150,000 subjects. And what we offer to the end user is basically the ability to build in real time on his tablet, on his mobile, his own newspaper. So you can select your specific subject, but it's not, do you prefer sport or technology? Is you can follow Heathrow Airport information, Hong Kong, Lady Gaga, and international news. So you really build your own newspaper in real time. business model is advertising, with one element that will for sure increase the performance is a contextual advertising, as we've got the chance to understand what the meaning of the article is. And with that, we basically launched 4 products. To tell you the truth, we launched 4 products. 1 failed. 3 are performing pretty well, so I'm not talking about the one who failed. The first one is called News Republic, so news dedicated to news. The second one, on the same architecture, is called Happy Geek, so dedicated to information about iPhone, Android, and everything about technology. And the last one that has been recently launched is called Glam Life, so more oriented to people. Some figures, because here it's pretty interesting, and we launched our first product in one country 12 months ago. This is what we achieved. I mean, our first choice was focus on the quality. No brand, we had no brand, we had no marketing dollars to spend. So we said the only way we can have a chance one day to make a difference is to focus on the quality. And we were extremists on the quality. And every month we are following where we are compared to the top best 20 ranking application in the 6 different countries we have deployed, which are France, UK, Germany, Italy, Spain, and US. And what you see is News Republic is always in the top 3 best rating new application on iPhone on the 6 countries. That lead us on a pretty relevant way to acquire new users. And every single day on November, we had 6,000 to 20,000 new digital readers that are joining us. In fact, I'm wrong. Yesterday I was checking the figures. 27,000 new digital readers has joined us yesterday. That led us, 12 months after the launch, with today generating 8 million page views. This is what we did in November. And if you look about our performance in France and the number of page views in France, what you can see is News Republic became on mobile only, the number 3 news media. And based on the figure I have, we think we are top 10 already in Italy in terms of page views 3 months after the launch. Something very interesting in terms of performance and in terms of how people using this application is they are reading a lot of information on the application. On News Republic France, on average, a unique visitor is reading 182 page views. Just give you an idea, on the Le Monde application, an average user is reading between 60 to 70 pages per month. And this figure is performed despite the fact that we are recruiting. And when we are recruiting, of course, people that arrive at the end of the month read significantly less number of pages during the month and influence negatively the average. So this is, and that's my only slide about us, but I wanted to give you what we're doing. This is what we are doing. I've got 2 opinions, 2 questions which I feel is relevant to share with you because I feel it's going to impact and is already impacting the news. The first one is, we strongly believe in the company that, as well as we've seen in the video, as well as we've seen in the music, the next step for news is to go through delinearization and the long tail. Let me explain why we think that. Clearly, when we launched and managed to be successful with, I would say almost 0 marketing dollars, we are very happy, we congratulate ourselves, we kiss ourselves, we like each other, blah, blah, blah. And we wonder, okay, it's nice, but that does not bring anything on the table. Why we're succeeding that well? Why we are performing and why our rates in terms of number of stars that people give us are so high? We haven't got beautiful logo compared to others. The choice of the color cannot explain everything. And what we guess is we basically answering to natural habits of the end user to access directly to the information he's looking for. And this is basically what exactly happened on the video. I mean, if you think about the video and TV, the keys of success of YouTube is the same story, is delinearization and long tail is I go straight to the information I want to have immediately without waiting, and I've got plenty of choice regarding the video. If you think about what happened in the music, and there is one company that has completely changed the dynamic of the music industry, is Apple, and what he's doing is that. It takes piece of music and basically or give to you the access of the music instantaneously and only on the part you want immediately. So that's, for me, something pretty interesting to see and to talk is news going to follow what the other content is doing, is go through delinearization and long tail. And of course, there is strong impact about that regarding any news organization. The second one is app everywhere, world change digital media world. I remember to talk with Bertrand in July, and Bertrand said, maybe you can talk about mobile app. I said, yeah, I might think I've got something to share that might be interesting with my 2 cents. But something happened, and it shows how fast the world is changing. Something happened during the summer. I don't believe anymore that app will be only on mobile. Even it's even worse. Initially, when we set up the company, we said, let's focus on app, but let's be sure that in the next 3 or 4 years, browsing will going to overrun the application ecosystem. And what I see, and what I saw during the summer is, I think we're wrong. I think what we see is app is going beyond mobile. And the first step, and the first way it went beyond mobile is to go through the tablet. So now it's obvious when you want to access to content on tablet, most of the usage is on the app side. But if you take your app, if you take, your iPad, your tablet, and you add a keyboard, it's called a PC. And please take 1 minute, go to YouTube, see the Windows 8 operating system of Microsoft that's going to be released next year, and they plan to sell it 500 million of them. You will see it's an application environment. There's no browsing. In fact, there is a please help emergency escape button that switch to browsing environment, but the reality is you are in an application environment. So we see the app going to PC. If you take your same tablet, the same one, and you increase the size and you add a remote control, what you have is a TV. And if you have a look on Google TV 2.0, and we were part of the launch of Google TV 2.0, what you have is an application ecosystem running on a TV. And that's also got a big impact because everything you're going to do to acquire new user regarding the SEO, to retain the user, to animate the community, to monetize the community and the reader you have, need to be completely rethink based on this new ecosystem. Thank you very much.
Okay, questions? Do we have any questions? Yeah.
I find it interesting that people who are making money from news these days are the people aggregating the news and not necessarily creating the news. Is there any plans to start creating as well as aggregating?
Yeah, I mean, there is many people in this audience, such CNN, Huffington Post, that creating the news and generating a pretty nice amount of money. What we see, and I share your point, is we see something happening on the app environment is a success of aggregators such as the Flipboard, the Pearls, and us that take pretty good position, but at the end we're sharing the revenue with the content provider, but our core business is not to create news, clearly, is to partner with the media to distribute their news and value and monetize their news.
Questions?
I was just wondering if you agree with people who says that there are actually two different tribes in the internet world. One is the PC-based tribe, which doesn't want to pay for anything digital, and the other one is mobile tribes, which willing to pay for anything. Thank you.
Sorry, I did not catch the end of the sentence.
The end is, you know, the PC-based tribe.
This is what I
The
got.
second is the mobile-based tribe. The mobile communities is willing to pay for anything in the webs.
Yeah, I'd hardly buy this approach. I think it's more based on what type of content than anything else. And I found for the moment, the product that I did not mention is called Business Report, which was not a free product to download a free app, was a paid app, and it was not a big success. Regarding the business model between what is free and what is premium, there is two elements to take into consideration when you do the analysis. The first one is the media gave bad habits to the people that now they can access the news for free. That can be on newspaper. It was on the web for the last 10 years. So you have to basically press the backward button and change the habit of the people that has been offered to them news for free during the last 10 years. It's pretty challenging. The other thing is, if you do some basic calculation about what does it mean to have some people paying versus advertising, if you take the assumption that on average an end user is generating €2 per year, which is basically what a website is doing on average in France, and you take the assumption by moving from free to paid environment, you're going to do a 5% transformation rate, which is already pretty nice transformation rate, so pretty bullish on the assumption. What you need to do to guarantee the same revenue is you need to offer a yearly subscription at €57. And €57 subscription in the digital world is not a small amount.
I'm sorry, we need to move on. So our next speaker, and I'll fill in a bit of time while he's getting set up. Our next speaker is JV Rufino from the Philippines Daily Inquirer Group. He's the VP, Vice President for mobile. I've known JV for some years now, and he's a remarkably very innovative guy, and he's got some really good stuff to show us.
Thank you, Stephen. Okay. First of all, welcome from the Philippines, one of the world's most mobile countries. Okay, how does this work? Okay, first, I sort of wanted to give an idea of the external situation that we face in the Philippines, because it is basically what is sort of driving our positioning in mobile, which we are very bullish on because we see a lot of potential in it. Okay. First of all, I was speaking to someone from Singapore, and he was saying that in Singapore, print has a 50% market share. And I said, that's excellent, because in our market, it's a TV market. The print share of the advertising market is in the low 10s, perhaps. Okay? But our share is an affluent and influential share. And the common understanding in Manila is that print is the rudder of the media ship, meaning that print tends to set the agenda for news coverage. When we break a special report on print, TV and radio pick it up, and it sort of starts the news cycle. Okay, but given that, our consumers are moving rapidly to digital, so we are, as a group, as a newspaper group, looking at that. So we actually have broken out of being a newspaper group and have actually expanded into various other areas. Okay. The external situation in mobile is we have very high mobile penetration, over 90%. But SMS and voice revenue is relatively flat. Data is the next frontier that we are looking at. And I've talked to all the people in the telcos tell me this. They're basically trying to get people to move from feature phones to smartphones because they're no longer making much money on those phones. They really want them to start getting iPhones. And in fact, one telco introduced a intermediate smartphone. They admitted to me that they wouldn't want to call it a smartphone because it's not quite there yet, but it's sort of in between a feature and a smartphone, and they're introducing it at very competitive prices and promoting it heavily in a way as to get people who are happy with feature phones to get onto smartphones. Okay. So what's holding people back is the fact that the data plans in Manila are relatively expensive. Okay. Also, as I said, smartphone usage is being pushed. Tablets in Manila are where mobile phones were a decade ago. These are pricey and objects of desire that people like to bring with them to Starbucks and show off, basically. I remember one of our IT technicians won an iPad in a raffle, and for the whole day he was just bringing the iPad was. He was going around his tech rounds, and this iPad was just here. He was just, just wishing you would notice that he had won an iPad. So just to show you how ubiquitous mobile is, this is a photo. This is actually in an island that you will find in lots of Philippine news coverage. This is on the island of Basilan, and the reason why all the phones are strung up there like bits of laundry is that happens to be at then the only spot in Basilan that had significant cell phone coverage. So what people would do is that they would string their phones there, and then they would have that guy would be guarding them, and then you'd go very periodically to check if you had any messages. But that shows just how important to the soldiers this was. Very, very important. These cell phones, because they were linked to their family, and they would actually practice in Basilan a form of cyber warfare. They would get the mobile numbers of the Abu Sayyaf bandits and send them nasty text messages. And the Abu Sayyaf bandits would send back text messages as well. So there was a war on multiple fronts. Okay, our internal situation. Internal situation is, unlike in many other countries, our print business model is still strong. It is chugging along. But we know we can't and it won't last forever. So while it's still bringing in the revenue, we are looking at diversifying our revenue stream and looking at new business models. Okay. Our digital revenues are there, but they are not there yet. I think it's a common experience in this group, where digital revenues have not come close yet to replacing our traditional analog revenues. Okay. We have diverse business models in our group. We're a group of 23 publications. Some are free, some are paid, some are somewhere in between. Our magazines have a very unique business model. So what we're looking at is how we're managing a digital transition. And that's where mobile comes in. The reason why we're quite bullish about mobile is our role in the group is we're to add new revenue streams, business models. We're going to sort of extend the biggest print publication in the Philippines has a circulation of about maybe half a million. And the country has a population of 97 million. So TV and radio have far greater reach. So we viewed mobile and the internet as a way of extending our brand outward. Okay. Mobile is to drive traffic to our other platforms for cross-platform effects. I'll get more into that later. And we sort of want to equalize the field with our broadcast competition because broadcast has tremendous pull in the Philippines. In fact, in our recently concluded ad congress, the single biggest event in that ad congress is we got all the chairman of the top 3 networks together on stage, and it was considered a major coup to have pulled that off because they are so competitive with each other, and they dictate so much of the ad budget. Okay, more specifically, our strategies in mobile is we provide a freemium glide path in mobile. Some of our mobile content is free, but there is always a premium paid option, and the strategy is to use free as a marketing tool, get them hooked on the free, and gradually convert them into subscribers. And gain the additional revenue thereby. And paradoxically, we have found out that when you charge a subscription, you gain 2 ways. One, the subscription revenue itself, of course, but also the fact that once behind a paywall, our advertisers are actually willing to pay higher rates. The feeling being that these are quality subscribers, they are heavily engaged with your brand, they believe in you enough to pay you in the ultimate form of engagement, which is actual money, instead of likes or Twitter followers. But the other thing we're also doing is we're using replica technology to quickly secure a foothold in the digital space. I am very well aware of the fact that this is a transitional phase. I have stressed to everyone in the group that we cannot be stuck in this transitional phase forever. This is just an initial step just to get our foot in the door in the market. Okay. Further on, we're going to develop mobile native content to further deepen our footholds. In fact, what we're doing is we are using, for example, we have a free iPhone app that's sponsored by one of our top telcos. It's a very basic app, and it was basic by design. We wanted to actually put a lot more features in it, but I told the development team, wait, hold back first. We came up with the free app, then the users, we had a suggest a feature button on the app, and a lot of people poured in suggestions, and we use that as we're going to use it as the basis for our next version of the app, which you will charge a small premium for. So the features of the premium app will be based on the feedback for the free app, which you will keep forever. So think of it as this is the Enquire iPhone app Lite, and there's like a premium version. We're not going to charge a very high fee for the premium version, but we are going to charge something. Another thing we're trying to do is we want to maintain a platform agnostic approach. We are, on one level, our offerings are meant for Apple, they're meant for Android, they're meant for BlackBerry, they're meant for Nokia, which still has a huge market share in the Philippines. In fact, the most popular smartphone in the Philippines is a model called the Nokia N70, which was surprising when we first got the data. It shows that basically people are very conservative when it comes to their handsets in the Philippines, that their upgrade cycle is more on the order of 3 to 4 years or 4 to 5 years rather than 2 to 3 years, or even 1 to 2 years. Okay, and we want to maintain an engagement with our ecosystems like Apple, Android market, and so on. But we don't want entanglement. We don't want to be locked into anyone's particular market. At the end of the day, we have to have terms that are favorable to us. This is one of the conversations that we are having with our telcos, because in the Philippines, the telcos get the majority of our SMS revenue shares. That's one of our bigger mobile revenue streams. And they get the majority share, which is unusual. In most countries, it's the reverse. The content provider gets the majority share. But we have discovered that through constant negotiation, we've managed to equalize that, almost. Okay. Yet more specifically, and this is one of the things I'm happiest about, we put our money where our mouth is, and after dealing with third-party firms, we put out the money and acquired a full mobile development firm. We felt that if on the print side, we feel it's important to control our printing presses, which we do, we have a high degree of vertical integration on our print side, we felt we needed to do the same on the mobile end. So we acquired a mobile development firm, and we're working very closely with our telcos for better revenue arrangements. We're a group. We have a radio station, magazines, tabloids, a whole range. And what we do with the group is, on mobile, I really work. In fact, when I moved to mobile, they were asking me, oh, so you do, like the online team, do you want to have your own reporters? Do you want to have your own editors? And I said, wait a minute, that's because the moment I have my own team, then it becomes an us versus them thing. So what I did was that I coordinated all the other platforms for my content. I have access to the radio team, to the web team, to the print team, but I myself don't actually have my own reporters and editors. So basically, as a political strategy, what it did was they said, oh no, you're helping us rather than being yet another team to draw resources away from me. Okay, so here's the nice part. I'd like to give some examples of what we're doing. Okay, so freemium, this is our free SMS alert service. We have a commuter free sheet called Inquirer Libre. Those of you who speak Spanish, yes, it means the same thing in Filipino. It's free. And what we've done is we ask, it's free, but it's sent out once a day. We ask them to provide their data, and this has been quite successful. We have subscribers. We only launched it a few months ago, and we now have a quite significant subscriber base. And it's stratified. We know, as you can see there, we know their names, we know their age, we know their location, we know their gender. So marketers, the point is when the alerts are sent out, half the message is an ad intended for that particular user. Okay. Now this serves as the market sample for our premium product, which is our premium real-time alerts, which is a service I handle directly. These are SMS alerts that are sent out to subscribers' mobile phone. It costs $2.50 per message, about a couple of US cents. And this has really been a a very big driver for us in terms of revenue, because 90% of the cell phones in the Philippines can receive text messages. They may not have a mobile website, they may not be able to access a mobile website or have access to apps, but they will have access to this. So this is our mass-based mobile product. And what we use it for is, we've had this product for a couple of years, and what I've learned is that what the people want on their mobile phones is extremely practical news. Like the news that most people appreciate, in fact, I get a lot of subscribers when I come out with this alert, is when I send out an alert over the weekend or around Monday on whether whether our oil firms are going to increase gas prices or roll back gas prices, because that's based on the market price of oil of the previous week. So when they announce that, what it basically does is it allows our subscribers to either rush, because what I do is I announce it a couple of hours before the oil price. The price change takes usually effect at the 12:01 a.m. of the next day. So what happens is you get the alert and the prices are going to go up. You rush to the gas station and gas up before the price hike takes effect. If it's going to be a rollback, you hold back and you wait till the rollback takes effect, and then you go to the gas station. I've seen the effect, because after I send out the alert, I do that behavior myself and run to the gas station, and I find that for the lines, the queues in the gas station are kind of determined by this SMS alert that I'm sending. So that's one example of an alert that we send. We also, of course, send major incidents. This morning there was a we're not quite sure if it's an accident or an incident down south where the second floor of an inn was blown up. So we carry that alert as well. Also, when there's major traffic jams, major traffic accidents, we carry that as well. On mobile apps, these are our free sponsored mobile apps. On the left is our iPhone app. As you can see it's a very basic app. No pictures, no video, no sharing except for email. Well, that will change when we release the premium version. On the other end is the Nokia Symbian app. As I said, Nokia remains a big player in our market, so the Symbian app proved popular. It actually proved quite popular among Filipinos in the Middle East, and I was shocked. I wasn't expecting that. And the reason, and I asked them about it, I asked them, thank you for downloading our app, but why are so many people in the Middle East downloading the app? And they explained to me that PC access in the Middle East is heavily censored. So they can't really access news that way. And they want to communicate with their loved ones back home, and they live in small apartments, so they tend to get, the Middle East, Filipinos based in the Middle East tend to get high-end smartphones as a relatively cheap form of computing. And that's why they're so happy with the apps. Okay, we haven't abandoned, as I said, we're platform agnostic. If you want apps, we have apps. If you want mobile web, we have the mobile web. This is the mobile web version of our internet portal. You access it by using m.inquirer.net rather than wawawa. It has pictures, but we are also under pressure to sort of keep it light, because in the Philippines, the most popular data plans charge you per kilobyte. So if you charge per kilobyte and your mobile site has a lot of pictures, they are not going to be very happy. In fact, we tell people there's an option to turn the photos off. Okay. All right. Okay. This is our Kindle edition. As I said, we are very interested in tablets, and we are the only Philippine news organization with a Kindle edition. And when I was first promoting this, I was getting a lot of quizzical looks inside, and they were saying like, Kindles are not very popular in the Philippines. They're hard to get. You have to ship them from the States and so on. And I said, we have a lot of expatriate readers, so they'll probably get this. And this proved very interesting because it's a new revenue stream. Our cost for doing it is relatively low. So all the money that we get from our Kindle edition goes straight. In fact, from this and our other mobile products, our revenues from mobile are significant enough to require a separate P&L in our organization. It also it's also, of course, always nice to receive a check. On the left is the Kindle edition and the iPhone, and on the right is the Kindle edition on the Kindle device. again, it's a multi-platform product. That's why we're interested in it. We advertise it as the only ads-free version of the Inquirer that you will find, because it's the only version of our paper where we strip out all the ads by virtue of it being text only. But the product our newest product and the one we're sort of most proud of is our digital edition newsstand. Almost all of our publications for iPhones, for Android devices, BlackBerry Playbook, via the Press Reader app, and there's a mobile-friendly web version as well. And you had multiple devices under one subscription. What we found is that people are willing to pay if you give them a choice. When we tell people that I'm not going to, one subscriber here called me up the other day and he said that I used to read the Inquirer digital edition on the Galaxy tab. I'm now upgrading to an iPad. Will I have to subscribe again? And I said, no, you just turn off the Android and you turn on the iPad. And he says, I love it. I have so much flexibility. You know, that's what I'm happy to pay for. So all of our group's print titles are there. Regardless, some of our titles have restricted geographic coverage. Like Cebu Daily News comes out only in Cebu. And some of our magazines come out only in certain areas of the metropolis. So this is the first time you can get all of them in one go. So that's what the newsstand, close-up of the newsstand on the iPad looks like. It gets downloaded automatically, and it's a big boon when you're traveling. You don't have to, first of all, we've never had all our content on the website. Maybe that was prescient of us, but we never put everything out. So there's still a value here in the sense that we can still say you will get 100% of the content that you're looking for. And the reason for that is many in our website audience, our audience on the website is divided into two. There's one group that is purely digital and just goes to the website for breaking news and all. And there's another group on the website who, by their behavior and their actions and their feedback, are basically going to the website because it allows them to read the newspaper for free. And that's sort of the group that we're trying to monetize. I know they are because our website sections don't correspond exactly to the print section, so they're always emailing asking like, I'm looking for this particular section of the paper and I can't find it online. And I have to explain to them that not all the articles in the print edition get carried online. Okay, just go through this briefly. We have, it's not just a PDF, we've got Twitter, social media sharing on this as well. Just brief on the pricing. We didn't price it too cheaply, but it is cheaper than our print edition, and so far we've gotten a good response. We have a subscription base in the tens of thousands for our digital edition, which isn't bad. Okay. In our future plans, we have a radio station, and we are planning, right now we live stream our radio station, and our plan is to create an app for the radio station. And the next thing I want to do is I want to create titles in the group that are mobile or tablet specific only, developed and created for a tablet audience, not just sort of like ported over from print and warmed over. That's only a first step. I sort of want to go beyond that. Thank you.
Do we have time for a couple of questions?
Maybe not, because we received a first message from Julian Assange saying, I'm here. Can you wait? No. Why? I have to go to the police station in 40 minutes. Because every day he has to go to the police station for proving that he is not in Hong Kong. But so sorry for that. So we wrap up this session, and I will invite the moderator, François Dufour, the speakers, Sylvie, Giannina, and Lixine. Where is Lixine? She was there yesterday. I saw her. You are here. Thank you. Thank you. So I